Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
Oh, this is never good for any player or team. You can barely see him, but that's defensive stud Michael Parsons on the ground holding his left leg. It's happening in camp yesterday. He missed the final 11 plays of the first team red zone work and later was seen limping. Parsons told reporters he got kicked in the leg and will have the injury checked out. He had his left calf wrapped and he didn't return to practice. He said, quote, "It's just something that happened to me. It's football. I'm not worried about it," end quote. The Dallas Morning News has a source that's close to that situation says he's fine. This guy is feeling fine. Right guard Zach Martin went through his first camp workout yesterday. He missed the first 3 weeks of training camp because he was unhappy with the contract. He met with Jerry Jones before the boys' first preseason game on Saturday, and 2 days later, a new done deal was announced. It'll guarantee him $36 million over the next 2 seasons. The deal takes him from the 8th highest paid guard in the NFL to the 3rd highest. As you can imagine, his teammates were very happy to see him at camp.
Yeah, no, it was great. I said my head hurt last night because I was smiling and laughing so much all day. You know, I don't think I stopped talking from the moment I got here till I went to bed. So it was great to see these guys. You know, 3 weeks doesn't seem that long, but when you're sitting in Dallas in 110-degree heat every day, seeing your guys out there having fun at training camp, it seems a little bit longer than it is.
And look who's there. That is Kevin Costner. Stopped by Cowboys camp, watched the action from both the field and up in the tower. Of course, he's been to Oxnard many times, so it's not a big surprise to see him at Cowboys camp. Hey, a lot of attention on UTSA quarterback Frank Harris this season. He was named to the Manning Award watch list. He's also been named to the Davey O'Brien Award, Maxwell Award, and Walter Camp Player of the Year Award watch list. Entering his final collegiate season, pretty much has the keys to the car there in UTSA. Gets into sports. Mary Rominger has more.
Larry, there's no telling what UTSA football can accomplish with a healthy Frank Harris, who returns to the program for his 7th season. Fall camp is coming to a close, and head coach Jeff Traylor says the left-hander is throwing the football the best he's seen him throw it.
He just knows the offense so well. He's got total control of it. I mean, literally. I know I've kind of, each year we've given him more and more and more and more, but like he really has it all now. He'll check any play he wants to, protection. He's put the game plan in for all I care.
I'm feeling great. You just cherish all the moments, you know, all the grind, all the camaraderie, being with each other all day long. I know I'm going to miss it, you know, when next year comes around.
ESPN revealed its preseason top 100 college football player rankings, and Harris is listed at number 32, higher than any other player out of the state of Texas. Mary Rominger, KSAT12 Sports.
Thanks, Mary. Here's UTSA Athletics' first ever Hall of Fame class, and it is a good one. Marcus Davenport, Lynn Hickey, Larry Coker, Mackenzie Adams, Devin Brown, and Tamika Roberts. The class of 6 will be inducted during homecoming weekend in late October. Congratulations to them. About time they had. And the NBA released its complete schedule for group play of that inaugural NBA in-season tournament, which tips off in early November. The West is made up of 3 groups, just like the East. The 6 group winners and 2 wild cards will advance to the knockout rounds. Wemby and the Spurs are the only team that has more than 2 of its 4 group play games on ESPN and TNT. That's how popular San Antonio all of a sudden become. The Spurs' first Group C play game is Friday, November 10th versus Minnesota at home, and they'll play at OKC on Tuesday, November 14th. They'll host Sacramento on Friday the 17th, and will close out group play on Friday, November 24th at Golden State. And this little tournament thing is going to be interesting to see how it all works out. They're all regular season games, but they kind of like formed it into some sort of tournament thing. So this is going to be interesting to see it work.
It's going to be fun.
Well, let's hope so, especially with Wemby.
Spurs mania all over town. All right, there's more to come. A woman reunited with a nurse 19 years after the woman found her abandoned as a newborn, and the journey the meeting led to an even more unbelievable discovery. A long-lost family member that was much closer than she thought.
And also new today at 5, health insurance can offer some peace of mind just in case somebody in the family needs to see a doctor. But does the family pet have health coverage? We'll tell you what you need to know about pet insurance today at 5 after Entertainment Tonight.
Former President Donald Trump and 18 co-defendants now have 9 days to surrender to Georgia authorities. In the meantime, as ABC's Justin Finch reports, Trump is now going on the attack.
Now facing 4 indictments, former President Donald Trump is leveling new attacks on the criminal justice system and doubling down on false election fraud claims on social media following his latest charges in Georgia. That state's Republican Governor Brian Kemp firing back, posting the 2020 Georgia election was not stolen. In Georgia, Trump is charged with 13 counts, including racketeering. The indictment placing him atop a criminal organization that also includes 18 aides, attorneys and associates, and 30 unnamed co-conspirators, all accused in a plot to keep Trump in the White House despite his 2020 election loss. Fulton County District Attorney Fonnie Willis.
Do I intend to try the 19 defendants in this indictment together? Yes.
Former Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani, who falsely accused Georgia poll workers of stealing ballots, now saying he's being indicted for being a lawyer.
I thought when I was doing this, I was protected by the fact I was defending him.
Meantime, Mark Meadows is filing to move his charges to federal court, arguing he was acting in his role as Trump's White House chief of staff. Others could follow.
Donald Trump has a tougher argument than the people who worked for him. The people who worked for him, I think, can say, look, he was my boss.
Meadows allegedly set up Trump's call with Georgia's Secretary of State.
So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes.
The Georgia indictment also details 11 calls Trump allegedly made to pressure Republican officials. Prosecutors also noting an alleged plot to recruit bogus electors who sent false votes to Washington. The Fulton County Sheriff says he's expecting all 19 defendants to turn themselves in at the county jail by noon Friday, August 25th. Justin Finch, ABC News, Washington.
Overseas, North Korea saying Army Private Travis King bolted across the border from South Korea last month after he became disillusioned with the inequality of American society and racial discrimination in the Army. However, it's impossible to verify the authenticity of the comments attributed to King. North Korean state media reported the allegations today. It's the first time the country has addressed King's detention. It said North Korea's investigation into King's illegal entry would continue. A U.S. Defense Department official said the Pentagon was working to bring King back to the U.S. The soldier's family said his mother is appealing to North Korea to treat her son humanely. Russia once again targeting the grain infrastructure in southern Ukraine. Russia hit storage facilities and ports overnight using drones. Kiev has increasingly used those terminals for grain transport to Europe after Moscow broke off a key wartime export deal through the Black Sea. Ukraine's economy is heavily dependent on farming. Its agricultural exports, like those of Russia, are also crucial for world food supplies.
Alec Baldwin could face charges once again for the deadly shooting on the set of the film Rust. Variety reports that a forensic report released Tuesday found that Baldwin's revolver would only fire if the trigger was pulled. That forensic report was commissioned by special prosecutors. Baldwin has denied pulling the trigger on the gun that fired a bullet that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Involuntary manslaughter charges were dismissed against him in April after evidence suggested the gun may have misfired after being tampered with. However, the dismissal decision didn't absolve Baldwin of culpability and charges may be refiled.
Today marks the one-year anniversary of the passing of the Inflation Reduction Act. President Joe Biden is set to give an address today highlighting the health care, tax, and climate law. The White House says it is also launching an interactive tool so people can track how the law is impacting Americans. The administration estimates the climate provisions have created more than 170,000 jobs and invested more than $110 billion in clean energy. And more homeowners are tapping into their home equity for cash. They're using it to cover the cost of renovations and pay off debt. The trend is developing as home values remain strong across the country. Average mortgage rates are close to 7%, and with low inventory in most housing markets in the U.S., home prices have held firm after surging during the pandemic. According to the St. Louis Federal Reserve, that means homeowners are now collectively sitting on nearly $30 trillion in home equity. As a result, the Mortgage Bankers Association says home equity loans and lines of credit jumped 50% last year compared to 2 years earlier.
If your water bill is higher than usual, you might want to check for a leak, and the heat may be the reason why. Plumbers say they are getting more calls than usual from people seeing high water bills. The culprit is often a leak, since soil is dry from the summer heat. Add in heavy water demand, and that can cause your pipes to shift or crack.
Especially older PVC that might have become a little bit more brittle, and now when that pressure, the ground pressure is pushing on them in different ways, they have a tendency to crack at their weakest point.
If you find a soggy spot in your yard or your water bill is unusually high, it may be time to call your plumber.
Outside with live cam, I guess you got to give the heat some credit. It doesn't waste any time getting higher and higher. I mean, it's like we started this thing, it was like 93. We're already up to 97 a half hour later.
I feel like during the noon hour too, you just really start to see those temperatures crank back up, especially when you have views like that, nothing but sunshine. You wouldn't even know that was a live cam if the cars weren't moving, I feel like. But yes, temperatures are definitely well on their way to the triple digits, especially here in San Antonio. Again, 104, that forecast high later on this afternoon. Check out places like Eagle Pass and Carrizo Springs already this lunchtime hour, just 1 degree shy of the century mark, checking in at 99. It's 98 in Cotulla, 95 in Hondo, 96 in Kerrville, and 98 out east in Gonzales. But of course, the farther north that you go, we do have those drier, lower dew points in place, so it's not too bad in terms of the heat index. But of course, it is going to be a toasty one, especially by the time you are stepping out to pick up the kids from school. 102 by 3 p.m. Still plenty of sunshine by 5 o'clock, 104, and then barely making it into the upper 90s by the 8 o'clock hour later on this evening. I did mention earlier that 10% chance for a very stray shower, better chances of finding that the farther south and west that you go of San Antonio. By about 5 o'clock, it is possible we put some of that daytime heat to work, combined with what's left of that stalled boundary just off to our south. But again, coverage is going to be very low, with most of us, unfortunately, staying dry. And that is still going to be the theme over the next several days. 107 the forecast high tomorrow, 104 on Friday, and then 103 as we head into the first half of the upcoming weekend. Again, early next week, we need to monitor that Gulf disturbance. So we'll talk about that, plus take a look at the supply and demand capacity in the days ahead, coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Mia. We'll look forward to that. There has been a big increase in local COVID-19 cases here in Bexar County. San Antonio Metro Health reported more than 1,600 new cases this week. That is a 387% increase from the start of July. University Health Doctor says the increase in activity follows a summer trend across the country. The strain behind most of these new cases is an Omicron subvariant called EG.5. A new vaccine booster expected to be released this fall is targeting these subvariants.
It'll be available by October, but they do want people to wait right now so they get this updated booster, which will more closely match what's circulating. Most people have already been exposed to some of these Omicron subvariants, and the most recent booster dose also contained that as well.
Now, despite the increases in cases, Metro Health tells us hospitalizations are still low. They have pop-up clinics for people who are looking for vaccines, and you do not have to register. We have a link to that information at KSAT12.
YouTube is stepping up its efforts to stamp out medical misinformation on its platform. The company says it is now removing false claims about cancer treatments. This includes content promoting unproven treatments or therapies that have already been deemed harmful by health authorities. A common false claim is that patients should take vitamin C instead of radiation therapy. The restrictions are already in effect. Enforcement will be ramped up in the coming weeks with both human and automated moderation reviews. YouTube already bans misinformation about vaccines and abortions and any content that promotes eating disorders.
It has been an incredible 2 months for a woman in New York after she found out she was abandoned as a baby. Now, that discovery led to her to not only reconnect with the nurse who found her, but also a brother she never knew she had. Now to a heartwarming reunion between a woman and a nurse who helped her after finding her as a baby. All this comes just a couple of months after the woman found out she was abandoned as a newborn.
And as ABC's Rihanna Nally reports, it's not the only discovery the woman made.
19 years ago, Vicki Lynn Laffin was abandoned as a newborn at the Richmond University Medical Center in Staten Island, discovered bundled up by nurse Claudia Beadle.
She was just laying there and I just scooped her up.
Vicki was soon adopted by Angela and Dennis Laffin. but they did not know her backstory beyond being adopted.
Walking in here was definitely emotional. It definitely felt a little overwhelming, but it was really nice to see kind of the place where I was left and see that Claudia was so great and took such good care of me.
The Laffins are also parents to one biological son and one adopted son named Frank. Frank was discovered on the steps of a Staten Island daycare as a baby, 2 years before Vicky was even born. He too did not know his full backstory.
They didn't know they were abandoned up until a couple of months ago, because we never use the words abandoned, left behind, dumped. It's just not, in our vocabulary.
So Vicky and Frank decided to take DNA tests, hoping to discover more about their history. What they found instead?
My brother had popped up as my full sibling, my biological brother.
The two biological siblings.
We were both found a year and a half apart and wound up in the same family. The odds are insane.
That is a pretty incredible story. I mean, think of the odds of that.
Right.
That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Yep.
What a fun reunion, though.
Most definitely.
Great stuff.
Think of the odds of maybe getting some rain. Wouldn't that be nice?
I'm going with 0.
Wow. Over the next couple of days, they're pretty slim.
Am I close?
Pretty next to nothing. Yeah, that was a good guess. But early next week, again, a lot of question marks with how that Gulf disturbance will track through the western Gulf of Mexico. But we have at least a few isolated rain chances in the forecast. It's something that we're going to have to monitor pretty closely in the days ahead. As far as temperatures, though, the big story over the next several days is still going to be the heat. 95 already. We very well could break the record of 103 set back in the 1960s and also in 2020. This morning, we actually had a low temperature of 79, not all that different from the past several days, but it felt so much better because the humidity has dropped. It's amazing what that can do in terms of the comfortableness factor outside. So we'll get you a full look at all of those details, the heat into the upcoming weekend, and then maybe a few rain chances early next week after the break. Well, to no one's surprise, we are gearing up for another triple-digit day here in San Antonio. And of course, that's just going to continue as we gear up for the upcoming weekend as well. What I do want to show you, though, the ERCOT supply and demand forecast over the next several days. The demand are the red bars that you see there, and then the supply is the blue line above that. And you can see that at times, especially at 7 p.m. tomorrow and into Friday, it's going to be close. But as of right now and as of the current forecast from ERCOT, the supply is expected to meet the demand. So that is good news, of course. Still also good to conserve energy, especially during the hottest times of the day, specifically between about 3 to 8 p.m. Today is another yellow day issued by CPS. So, of course, continue those everyday conservation measures and avoid using those large appliances if possible. And here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast talking about exactly that. By 2 p.m., already at 99 forecasted here in town. Plenty of sunshine is expected. 102 by 3 o'clock, 104 that forecast high by 4 to 5 p.m. And then still, if you're stepping out for any of those Wednesday evening plans, thermometers slow to fall through the low triple digits, but eventually we'll see those temperatures in the 90s later on tonight under clear to mostly clear skies. 105 in Pleasanton, 107 in Cotulla, 106 in Eagle Pass. Possible Del Rio reaches 108 later on this afternoon. 102 in Canyon Lake and 103 out east in Gonzales. Again, record challenging heat expected this afternoon and tomorrow. If that 107 verifies, that could be the hottest day that we've experienced so far this year here in San Antonio. And if we can still see those triple digits into the beginning of next week, next Tuesday could make for the 57th triple digit day. But that all depends on how that Gulf disturbance that we've been talking about pans out and exactly the track that it takes as it works its way farther west. So let's talk about that. Again, as we head into the later portions of the work week and even into this weekend, the high pressure system is going to move farther eastward, center itself over the central United States. But it does look to move ever so slightly farther northward, especially into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. And if we can find that, that could open the door for that Gulf disturbance to work its way into at least portions of South Texas. Still a lot of question marks with this in terms of the exact track that it takes, because that's going to depend on who sees the best rain chances during that time frame, and also how organized it is. As of right now, the National Hurricane Center has tagged this as a very low chance, 20% chance for tropical development over the next 7 days, really early next week. But again, that confidence is still very low. We will take some of the rain though if we can find it. Definitely something to check back in on in the coming days. Right now we've got that 10 to 20% chance in the forecast for early next week. Until then, the fire danger is going to be elevated over the next few days as well. So fire safety, definitely something to keep in mind as we continue on with these triple-digit days. All right, we're going to take a step aside and we'll be right back after the break.
Back to school fun continues for the kids and for SA Live.
Yeah, and I was looking at Jen's Instagram. She went to a beautiful shop.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes, we're featuring that today too, Tiffany. Yes, it's really cute.
Yes, are you ready to get a jump on this right here? It's a Wild Wednesday, and Amanda Winter with Once in a Wild joins us. And what is this?
This is Xena. She's an African flat rock scorpion, everyone's favorite.
And she's a mom. How is she Mom of the Year?
She's Mom of the Year. She's actually had 39 babies before, and they are excellent mothers who carry their babies around.
On their back?
On their back. 39
It feels like us. Yes, it feels like us. All right, Sweet Grace Bakery, Melina is here. And how are you giving back? You're giving back, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to be raffling off a heart cake for the victims of the Maui fires.
Beautiful. Look at that heart cake.
Okay, and if you want a mobile treat service to come to you, this is what wheels right on up. And you've got a deal for SA Live viewers, right?
Yes, actually, in our new location, if you say SA Live El Amigo, you get 25% off on your entire order.
I want to grab something. Okay, I'll wait. All right, and it's the first dog wedding ever in Texas. Official dog wedding. Happy's joining us here with the bride and groom.
Yes, Coco Chanel and El Rey will be having their first ever dog wedding on Saturday, August the 26th, International Dog Day
We're going
at
to tell
Comanche
you,
Park.
And we'll tell you how it all goes back to a good cause. Also, like Tiffany mentioned, we're taking you shopping. One of the newest cute shops for this happy space on this Wednesday. It's Wednesday, right, Fiona?
That's
all right.
right.
So many things. A great show coming up, guys.
All that and more when SA Live continues.